What's up, everybody? What do you have? Just show me, Sarah. I hate you. Alright, well, my wife's showing me memes. This is a good night. So today I'm going to talk about the sorcerer class. Sorcerer's fun. That's what I made in the current campaign that I'm going to use. As I mentioned in my Facebook description, I feel like the sorcerer is like D&D's natural mutant class. Even how your power source comes to be and all that stuff. And when your magic first manifests. So check it out. I'm going to do like I always do. I'm going to read the little flavor text out of the book. And I'm going to read all the way up until I get to the first jargon of what your hit points look like and yada yada and all that. And then we'll go from there. All right, let's see. Let's go before I read it. I see for the. I love you, honey. All right, sorcerer. Golden eyes flashing, a human stretches out her hands and unleashes the dragon fire that burns in her veins. As an inferno rages around her foes, leathery wings spread from her back, and she takes to the air. Long hair whipped by a conjured wind, a half-elf spreads his arms wide and throws his head back. Lifting him momentarily off the ground, a wave of magic surges up in him, through him, and out from him in a mighty blast of lightning. Crouching behind a stalagmite, a halfling points a finger at a charging troglodyte. A blast of fire springs from her finger to strike the creature. She ducks back behind the rock formation with a grin, unaware that her wild magic has turned her skin bright blue. Sorcerers carry a magical birthright. Let me try that sentence again. Sorcerers carry a magical birthright conferred upon them by an exotic bloodline, some otherworldly influence, or exposure to unknown cosmic forces. One can't study sorcery as one language, any more than one can learn to live a legendary life. No one chooses sorcery. The power chooses a sorcerer. So real quick, that word about that monster, when they said a halfling points a finger at a charging troglodyte, you take that word and just incorporate it in your everyday vocabulary, and it's pretty good for shit talking. People will look at you if you're like, man, these goddamn fucking troglodytes. They're just like, what the fuck are you saying? It's pretty funny. It works when you give it a delivery. Anyways, let's get to the next part of the sorcerer. Raw magic. Magic is part of every sorcerer, sufficing body, mind, and spirit with a latent power that waits to be tapped. Some sorcerers wield magic that springs from an ancient bloodline infused with the magic of dragons. Others carry a raw, uncontrolled magic within them, a chaotic storm that manifests in unexpected ways. The appearance of sorceress powers is wildly unpredictable. Some draconic bloodline produce exactly one source. I love this part. I love when they explain where the sorcerers come from. How, like, you'll see, it's funny, I think, to me. Some draconic bloodlines produce exactly one sorcerer in every generation, but in other lines of descent, every individual is a sorcerer. Most of the time, the talents of sorcery becomes as apparent flukes. Some sorcerers can't name the origins of their power, while others trace it to strange events in their own lives. The touch of a demon, the blessing of a dryad at birth, or a taste of water from a mysterious spring that might spark the gift of sorcery. So too might the gift of a deity of magic. Exposure to elemental forces of the inner planes, or the maddening chaos of limbo, or a glimpse into the inner working of reality. Sorcerers have no use for spellbooks and ancient tombs of magic lore that wizards rely on, nor do they rely on a patron to grant their spells as warlocks do. By learning to harness and channel their own inborn magic, they can discover new and staggering ways to unleash that power. So like I said, their magic comes just from within them. They're charisma-based magic. I think it's funny, like it said, in some cultures they're rare. In some cultures, everyone in the damn family is a sorcerer. So it just really depends, and that makes for cool storytelling and building a character. So unexplained powers. Sorcerers are rare in the world, and it's unusual to find a sorcerer who is not involved in the adventuring life in some way. People with magical powers seething in their veins soon discover that power doesn't like to stay quiet. A sorcerer's magic wants to be wielded, and it has a tendency to spill out in unpredictable ways if it isn't called on. Which is why they remind me of mutants. Sorcerers often have obscure and quixotic motivations driving them to adventure. Some seek a greater understanding of the magical force that infuses them, or the answers to the mystery of its origins. Others hope to find a way to get rid of it, or to unleash its full potential. Whatever their goals, sorcerers are every bit as useful to an adventuring party as wizards, making up for a comparative lack of breadth in their magical knowledge with enormous flexibility in using the spells they know. Creating a sorcerer. The most important question to consider when creating your sorcerer is the origin of your power. As a starting character, you'll choose an origin that ties to a draconic bloodline or the influence of wild magic. But the exact source of your power is up to you to decide. Is it a family curse passed down from you from distant ancestors? Or did some extraordinary event leave you blessed with inherent magic, but perhaps scarred as well? How do you feel about the magical power coursing through you? Do you embrace it, try to master it, or revel in its unpredictable nature? Is it a blessing or a curse? Did you seek it out, or did it find you? Did you have the option to refuse it, or do you wish you had? What do you intend to do with it? Perhaps you feel like you've been given this power for some lofty purpose. Or you might decide that the power gives you the right to do what you want, to take what you want from those who lack such power, which again seems very mutant. Perhaps your power links you to a powerful individual in the world, the fey creature that blessed you at birth, the dragon who put a drop of its blood into your veins, the lich who created you as an experiment, or the deity who caused you to carry this power. So, class features. You're going to get low hit points. You're going to get 1d6 hit points plus your con modifier. Your armor is going to be none. Your weapons are daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs. Your saving throws are Constitution and Charisma. You get to choose from 2 skills: Arcana, Deception, Insight, Intimidation, Persuasion, Religion. I think for my skills, I picked Persuasion, and I think Intimidation, and then I got Deception and the other things from some other stuff. So you get a bunch of cantrips, you get a bunch of spells. You get to decide the origin of your power, whether it be wild magic or draconic bloodline. My character personally went with the draconic bloodline. Also, before we get there, all mages sorcerers. This is what sold me on the sorcerer, was this flavor, or lack of flavor. At level 3, all sorcerers straight up get meta magic. That's what it's called. At the 3rd level, you gain the ability to twist your spells to suit your needs. You gain 2 of the following meta magic options of your choice. You gain another at level 10 and at level 17. You can only use one meta magic option on a spell when you cast it, unless otherwise noted. Now, I'm not going to read them all, but the way these meta magics work is they're just exactly what they sound like. So, I'll pick the first one, a careful spell. When you cast a spell that forces other creatures to make a saving throw, you can protect some of those creatures from the spell's full force. To do so, you spend 1 sorcery point and choose a number of creatures up to your charisma modifier. A chosen creature automatically succeeds on its saving throw against the spell, i.e. your party. You're like, I'm going to cast this spell, and it's got an AoE effect. I've got a charisma modifier of 3. I'm going to spend a meta point, and I'm going to protect my 2 homies there. I don't need the 3rd one. And I'm going to blast these guys. Empowered spell. When you roll a damage spell, you can spend 1 sorcery point to re-roll the number of the damage dice up to your charisma modifier. You must use the new rolls. So you can literally start re-rolling. My charisma starting out is a 3. So when I get to that point, my abilities will go up to level 4. So when you get to level 4 in particular, then my abilities will be a 4. I'll get to when I spend that, just keep re-rolling dice until I find the damage I like. There's a bunch of other meta magic options, but I like it because it just quite literally is let's just tweak the numbers. I went with the Draconic Bloodline now. Of the 2 sorcerer origins, I'll read about both of them. The Draconic Bloodline, I'll read the flavor. Your innate magic comes from draconic magic that was mingled with your blood or that of your ancestors. Most often, sorcerers with this origin trace their descent back to the mighty sorcerer of ancient times who made a bargain with the dragon, or who might even have claimed a dragon parent. Some of these bloodlines are well established in the world, but most are obscure. Any sorcerer could be the first of a new bloodline as a result of a pact or some exceptional circumstance. I haven't decided when I'm going to go with it. I think I'm going to go with exceptional circumstance. I haven't finished that part. So you got to pick your dragon ancestor. When you do, what happens is you're going to pick a color and a type. So the color dictates the type, I should say. So real quick, we'll just go down and read about half of them. If you are a black dragon ancestor, you're going to be an acid damage. If you're a blue dragon, you're going to be lightning. If you're going to be brass, you're going to be fire. If you're going to be bronze, you're going to be lightning. So some of my repeater ones. I personally went with green. Green dragons are the only poison dragon. So my sorcerer has poison dragons as his ancestors, and I use that flavor when picking out his spells. So in addition to that stuff, you can speak, read, and write Draconic. Additionally, whenever you make a charisma check, when interacting with dragons, your proficiency bonus is doubled if it applies to the check. So I'm already trained in all the charisma crap. And then if I have to deal with dragons, my checks on charisma stuff is all doubled on them, so they'll like me more on that. Also, when you do your intimidation checks, it's fun flavor-wise to cuss someone out in Draconic, a language they just don't know. That you already cast magic and you're like, you just start speaking tongues and shit. It's cool. Here's what I really liked was Draconic Resilience. As magic flows through your body, it causes physical traits of your dragon ancestors to emerge. At first level, your hit points max increases by 1, and again by 1 whenever you gain a level in this class. Additionally, part of your skin is covered by a thin sheen of dragon-like scales. When you aren't wearing armor, your AC equals 13 plus your dex modifier. I really exploited the shit out of that and got myself another... I got myself a +3 in my dex modifier to get my armor class at 16, which is better than some of the armor wears. Then you're going to get elemental affinities. So starting at 6th level, when you cast a spell that deals the damage type of the associated stuff, you're getting much cool shit. I don't want to read all this. I almost read it all because the sorcerer's actually small and there's stuff. So the wild magic. The wild magic goes, here's the flavor of it. Your innate magic comes from the wild forces of chaos that underlie the order of creation. You might have endured exposure to some form of raw magic, perhaps through a planar portal leading to limbo. The elemental planes are the mysterious far realm. Perhaps you were blessed by a powerful fey creature, or marked by a demon, or your magic could be a fluke of your birth, with no apparent cause or reason. This is real mutant-like. However it came to be, this chaotic magic churns within you, waiting for any outlet. Flavor-wise, I would have much rather liked to go with wild magic, but I wanted that fucking AC. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted that armor class. So when you go this way, you know, you get what's called wild magical surges, starting when you choose this origin. At first level, your spell casting can unleash surges of untamed magic. This is literally just, you roll 20, and there's a random effect table on the back here, and all these random effects that can go. You can levitate on yourself. You frighten the nearest creature. It just explodes random magic off there. Tides of Chaos. You can manipulate the forces of chance and chaos to gain advantage on one attack roll, ability check. So again, you're messing with the meta of it all. They seem cool. Like I said, I went with the other one. Like I said, this one gets a lot more chaos magic in that it'll give you a lot more dice. It'll make your magic pop a lot more. But the other build at level 14, you get fucking dragon wings. You get wings that just fucking fly out of your body. And I want to do the Archangel shit if I play this character long, where I go to pick a fight with somebody and I scream some shit in Draconic and say some crap about being the horseman of pestilence, and then pointing at my wings, rip out my clothes, and you go attack them. Like, you gotta have fun with it. I'm looking forward to playing this class. Tomorrow we will read about another fun class that, you know, I've honestly never played, and except for it's my main in WoW, and maybe that's why I never played it. But tomorrow I'll read about the Warlock, and I really should play a fucking Warlock one day. They're super cool. They have their own level of versatility and lore to them. I think I'm just a whore, and I like the simplicity of the sorcerers popping people even more than the wizards preparing for the spells and the control effects and the different shit. I think I really just like how a sorcerer just can keep popping and popping, and that's why I compared them to mutants, especially when it comes to their cantrips and their power sources and shit. Just shooting that powers left and right. Alright guys, thanks for listening to me ramble and let me talk about D&D. I love y'all, and give me feedback, posts and likes, and hit me up and we'll get some games going. Peace.